For the Wednesday, June 16th, regular meeting. Good thing. Wednesday, June 16th, 2021, 6 p.m. regular meeting of the Sunnyvale Planning Zoning. Attendance is missing Mitchell, Klein, and Lisa. So, first item on the agenda is a public forum. If any citizens like to come forward and to speak, this is the time. You have 3 minutes to speak on items that have nothing to do with the agenda tonight. Seeing no one in attendance, is there anyone on Zoom? Do they want to speak? Great. I'll go ahead and close the public forum. The consent agenda includes 2 items. One is the minutes for the meeting of May 19th. The other is item number 2. It's 484 Poly Road, case 1703. It's the Varughese Addition. If any of the commissioners like to pull one of those items off the consent agenda, we can talk about it. Otherwise, I'll take a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda items.
I have a motion. Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Great. So consent agenda is approved unanimously. Is anyone opposed? I guess no one opposed. So the first discussion action item is item number 3. Discuss, consider, and act upon a recommendation regarding the site plan of the 18.5 acres property zoned industrial I, located generally at the northwest corner of Long Creek Road and Clay Road. It's case number 1702 SP Building 2, Clay Commerce Center. You gonna take care of this, Philip?
The request before you tonight includes 4 properties totaling 8.5 acres located at the northwest corner of Long Creek Road and Clay Road. The commission may recall that a rezoning request was approved a couple months ago that changed the zoning of 3 of the 4 properties so that they're all now zoned industrial. The adjacent properties to the south and west include industrial uses. Site plan approval was given to the property to the north on phase 1 of a warehouse and distribution facility. Beyond the immediately surrounding properties, Long Creek Road west of Clay Road is primarily an industrial corridor. The applicant is requesting a site plan approval to construct an approximately 292,000 square foot warehouse and distribution center. The building would also include about 14,605 square feet of office space to support the operations of the center. All the proposed uses are permissible uses within the industrial zoning district. The site plan shows that there are 2 access driveways, one on Clay Road and one on Long Creek Road, as well as a connection with the development to the north of the Encore transmission lines. The building will be oriented north to south of the truck courts on the east and west facades. The plan complies with all landscaping, parking, and lighting requirements. The site plan shows a 6-foot meandering sidewalk with earthing berms and planting beds that will be constructed adjacent to Clay Road within the 25-foot landscape buffer and Long Creek Road within the 15-foot landscape buffer. The applicant is asking for the same 2 alternative compliance methods they proposed in phase 1 of the distribution center just north of this location. The first request relates to the design standard requiring that there be at least 3 feet of articulation to the depth of the building facade for every 30 feet of length. This means that the exterior building wall should vary in and out by 3 feet or more rather than be on one continuous plane that extends the entire length of the facade. As can be seen in the building outline on the site plan, the north and the south facades comply with this requirement. The east and west facades, however, do not comply. This applicant is requesting that the typical standard for articulation not be applied to the east and west facades. Since they are used as a truck court with loading bays, any articulation would pose an obstacle to the trucks backing into the bays. The second request relates to the screening walls. The UDO requires that storage and service areas be screened from view with a 7-foot tall masonry wall that matches the building and columns every 150 feet. Elsewhere, the UDO requires that any commercial or utility vehicles stored or parked on a property be screened from view. In this case, the vehicles being stored would include 14-foot tall trailers. Therefore, a 7-foot wall would not be sufficient by itself to screen the trailers completely. The applicant is requesting the availability to construct a wall up to 9 feet that would include a painted concrete portion on the bottom that would match the building and a simulated wrought iron portion at the top. In addition to the wall, landscaping along the wall will be added to achieve the screening required by the UDO. Staff and the applicant have discussed that the landscaping would be inspected once installed to ensure compliance with the screening requirement. If additional landscaping is needed, the applicant would address it at that time. Staff believes that this approach will achieve the intent of the UDO in a more visually appealing manner than a solid wall of sufficient height to screen the trailers. Staff recommends approval of this request. With these two alternative compliance methods, I'm happy to answer any questions y'all may have.
Is the applicant on Zoom?
Yes.
Do they want to speak? Let's see. I don't have Zoom pulled up, so.
This is Eddie Eckert with Goodwin and Marshall. We're the civil engineering surveying company representing the client on this particular piece of property. As you guys have seen before,
Sir, just for the record, can you just state your name and address, please?
Yes, Eddie Eckert, 2405 Mustang Drive, Grapevine, Texas.
Perfect, thank you.
And the architect is on as well if there's any questions. This is a continuation of the Building 1 site plan project that you guys saw a couple of weeks ago. So same group, same team, same client, same variances, similar style of building, and looking to, again, do the same thing in a different fashion on this particular site. Happy to answer any other questions that you might have.
Great, thank you. Any questions for the applicant at all?
You may have answered this before. I have just a question about the fence. What is simulated wrought iron fence? What is that made of?
That's a great question for my landscape architect who's not on this call, but I think the answer to that from a visual standpoint, yeah, that's it right there. I mean, it could be alternative metal type, you know, yeah. So I mean, it's one of those that the wrought iron itself is I guess one type of product, and this would look very similar to it, but it might be some other type of metal that is not exactly wrought iron. You know, based on availability of metals these days, we want the look of it, but it's becoming a challenge to get the right material in today's environment.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you, sir. In the spirit of this being a city meeting, go ahead and open up the for discussion to the town. Seeing that there's no one here and there's no one on Zoom, I assume no one wants to speak on this matter. Great. So I'll go ahead and close the public meeting and leave it open for the commission to discuss. I think this is the two alternatives we talked about already are the articulation, which makes sense a lot with the loading dock and then the screening wall, which seems like they're willing to not only do this but go above and beyond and say, you know, at this time if they add more, then tell us and we'll add more. So I personally have no problems with this, and it seems pretty straightforward. So if anyone else has any issues, so let's discuss it. If not, we'll take a motion.
Will the town have an opportunity, because he was not real clear on what the wrought iron fence was going to be made out of, will the town have an opportunity to review that before the final plans, installation, all that will occur?
I believe so. I would ask Charles to go ahead and hop in.
Yeah, I can chime in on that. Yes, when they submit for their building plans and their fence permit, we'll get to see exactly what that material is.
Wrought iron, simulated wrought iron before in Sunnyvale, right?
I didn't hear the first part of that question.
Oh, people have used simulated wrought iron fence before like this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is not the first time I think that.
So this will be some sort of metal. It's not going to be wood or something different.
No, I think it's just
Okay.
it's
Just an alternative metal.
I don't know why they even call it simulated wrought iron. I think it's metal. Well, your fence is wrought iron. This is not wrought iron. It's like aluminum or something, some other kind of metal, cheaper. Yeah. I mean, I'm not the fence expert, but I imagine it's just not wrought iron, which I know what wrought iron is. Yeah, so I have no problems.
I'll make a motion to approve the applicant's request.
Great, I have a motion. Second. Great, I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, great. That will move on to council. Next item is the adjournment. So if anyone wants to continue to speak, we could do that. Otherwise, we can have motion for adjournment and be on our way.
Make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Great. Great. All in favor? I have a motion and a second. Great. No one wants to stay and talk, so we'll get out of here. I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 6:12. Thank you.